Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live, and that ain't no jive. And also, I want to welcome everybody that's here today. It's so good to see you. I love these cute aspects of myself, because that's what we're looking at. We're just looking at another form of who we are. Absolutely. Now, those of you who are watching right now, we are going to do A Course in Miracles. And the thing that the Course in Miracles says is that it has its own way of being learned. And so it gives its own guidelines, which are the best way for you to learn the course. And it's in the beginning of the workbook. And it says, remember only this: you need not believe the ideas I'm about to share with you. You need not accept the ideas that I'm about to share with you. And if you've been studying the course for a while, you probably already not believing it and have some things in it that you're not accepting, which means, hey, so far you're a great student. Then it says you need not even welcome the ideas. So there's some of the things that the Course in Miracles says that you may not welcome. It also says some of the ideas you may actively resist some of the ideas. So some of the things that I say today, you might resist. You might not like. It might not appeal to you. Some of the things I say might be hard to believe. Some of the things I say may be hard to believe. Some of the things I say may be hard to believe. I'm the divine repetition teacher. The Course in Miracles says over and over again, repeat this. Repeat that, repeat this, repeat this. Then it says over and over again, don't forget, remember, don't forget, remember, over and over and over. Don't forget, remember. And so I focus more on the practical application of the Course in our everyday life, and also on the repetition and the remembering aspect. There's nowhere in the Course that it says analyze these ideas. There's nowhere in the Course where it says analyze these ideas. Do you know that the Course actually says that analyzation of it will destroy the meaning of it? So my classes are not about sitting around in a circle and analyzing the ideas with everybody giving their opinion of what they think it means. That's not my class. My class is how can we hear the message of the Course, and how can we apply it in our day-to-day life and what we're thinking and what we're doing. So my emphasis is on the practical application of the ideas, not the analyzing of the ideas, and because that's what it says. So I'm just doing what it says. It also says some of these ideas may startle you. So some of the things may startle you. Then it says, do you know their use will give the ideas meaning and will show you that the ideas are true. So it's the using of the ideas that give the ideas meaning. It's the what? The using of the ideas that gives the ideas meaning. Okay? And what will the ideas do? Show you that the ideas are true. So the ideas will show you that the ideas are true. There's a lesson in the Course that's called, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not the victim of the world I see. And I'm going to play that because it kind of gets the juices flowing and the energies joining. It's by Brother John Christmas. You can download his music on johnchristmas.com, and these are all based on the Course in Miracles and Course in Miracles lessons. So those of you who happen to be members of the Course in Miracles choir, I would like to have your assistance. Okay, here we go. Say what? I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, say what, of the world I see. I'm not a victim, say what, of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom, I'm not a victim of my pa, I'm not a victim of even circumstance at all. I'm not a victim, say what, of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me, including the good stuff. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim, the victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. What I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, 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 of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my electronics. No, no, no. The victim of the South. I'm not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim. I have a very high-tech operation, and I have the most incredible road crew in techs that you could ever imagine. Now, I'd like to invite you to join me in being sincere, but not serious. Okay? Let's have a good time. We're going to be in Fear and Conflict, which is this, chapter 2, the separation and the atonement. And we're going to be on page 29. There's still a couple of loaner copies that are up here in case you want to follow along. My classes are very book intensive because my goal as a teacher is to ultimately make myself unnecessary and hopefully motivate people to want to do their own personal study. And so one of the things I hear the most after 43 years of studying and teaching the course is about how hard it is sometimes to read or to understand. And so I'm going to use it. And I teach in a question and answer format too. So what it starts out with is saying, the higher self is saying to us, I do not foster level confusion, but you must choose to correct it. So do you know if there's anything that you are confused about right now? The first step to getting rid of the confusion is to choose to correct it. So right now I'm going to make the decision to choose to correct my confusion. So is there any area of your life right now that you feel like you have some confusion operating? Are you horribly in denial? You're totally innocent. Okay? Now, would you excuse insane behavior on your part by saying you just couldn't help it? No. So why would you condone insane thinking? Why would we make insane thinking? The course is saying, well, you wouldn't condone insane behavior, so why are you condoning insane thinking? Why are we condoning insane thinking? And then it's telling us that how can you tell from a Course in Miracles perspective if you're using insane thinking? If you're using insane thinking, then you're in a state of fear and conflict about something. So whatever you're experiencing that fear and conflict is where you may not know it, but according to the Course, you're using insane thinking. Okay? Now remember, your belief doesn't have anything to do with the truth of what I'm saying. Right. Everybody clear about that? Whether you agree or believe does not determine the truth of something. I used to believe it did. I would listen to people and go, if I believe and I agree with it, it's the truth. And if the person is saying something that I don't believe and I don't agree with, then it's not the truth. Can you see the error of that? Right. So I'm not attached to the way anybody reacts to what I'm saying, because if it's not okay for people to have their own reactions, whatever that is, then I shouldn't be sitting in front of the room. Right? So the Course is saying to us, there's a confusion that we would do well to look at clearly. So wherever it is in your life where you're experiencing fear and conflict, that means that you got some insane thinking going on. And so it would do you good to look at the confusion. And how do we look at the confusion? It says, well, you want to look at the confusion clearly. So now we're going to cover what that is. It says, you may believe that you are responsible for what you do. You might believe that you are responsible for your behavior. You might believe you're responsible for what you do, but not for what you think. I'm responsible for what I do, but sometimes people feel like they aren't responsible for what they think. But the truth is, you're responsible for what you think. And do you know the reason why you're responsible for what you think is because at the level of thought, it's the only level you really can exercise choice. So you're exercising choice right now by what you're thinking about what's happening right now. You're exercising choice by the thoughts that you're having about what I'm saying right now. So the Course is saying it's only at the level of thinking that we really can exercise choice. So that means what you do comes from what you think. What I do comes from what I think. What I do comes from what I think. What you do comes from what you think. What you do, show me what you do, you show me what you think. Show me what you do, you show me what you think. And what you do comes from what you think. See the reasoning? So you can't separate yourself from the truth by saying you couldn't help yourself, because you can exercise choice at the level of what you think. So whatever you're going through right now that's causing you fear and conflict is not the situation or the circumstance out there that's causing the fear and conflict. That would mean the fear and conflict is coming from what you think, and it's only at the level of what you think that you really can exercise choice. So that ultimately means the way you're feeling about that situation is coming from your choice of what you're choosing to think about that situation. Now, most people will agree with that. And they'll also act like it's almost elementary. They'll say stuff like, of course, but then go out and do something crazy. So it's really funny. We'll intellectually get this and think that's the same as we're actually doing it. Oh, that makes sense. What I do comes from what I think. It's at the level of thought that I exercise choice. Okay, then that means that whatever I'm feeling fear and conflict about, that fear and conflict is coming from the choices that I'm making about what I'm thinking. Whew. So you can no longer say you just couldn't help but do that. And you just couldn't help but behave that way because what? You could have exercised another choice about what you want to think. And the Course in Miracles is so cool. As a matter of fact, it's called Miracles because if we think correctly and love each other, it's a miracle. Yeah. It's not saying it's a Course in Miracles because we're going to move mountains. If I look at you with love, don't judge you, don't condemn you, be willing to forgive you, and something I think I experienced with you, then that's a miracle. Sometimes when we have grievances, to let it go, the Course says that's a miracle, and it defines a miracle as a correct perception, a true perception. Like, if you see something correctly, it's a miracle. If you can forgive, it's a miracle. If you can not sit here and judge, that's a miracle. You know, I love how the Course says that adults basically love to judge because they're trying to convince themselves that they know what's going on. So the reason why I'm going to sit here and judge everything is because that's my way of feeling like I know what's going on. So that's really me trying to pretend I really know what's happening, is I judge it and then I have to believe my judgment because if I don't believe my judgments, then I don't know what's going on. That's what most people feel. So then we come into an environment, we bring all of our judgments and learnings and conditioning from the past, and then we use that to judge, to choose to exercise the choice of what we're going to think about the situation. Everybody with me? That you're looking at me right now and you're judging me right now based on your past learning and your past experience of people who look like me. That's figuring into it. Whatever programming you got in the past about a person that's got a chocolate colored body, that's being brought into this moment, whether we want to pretend like it is or not. This certain age, my personality, we are bringing the past into this moment, and we're judging everything based on our past learning, right? So the Course has an exercise that says, I see only the past. So you're not really seeing me. You're really seeing your past learning. That's what you're looking at. That's why when people go into a new relationship, they'll sometimes judge the new person by what they went through with the old person. And they think that's wise, right? I'm going to treat you based on what the last woman that I knew, how she treated me. But guess what? You're not her. So that's not fair to you. Your slate should be clean. Follow me? But the Course says when you do that, that's delusional. So that would be me not thinking correctly. For me to exercise the thought that in dealing with you, I'm dealing with someone that's not even there. So the Course says that most of us are in relationships with people who are not there. Yeah. That's a great line. You're in a relationship with people who aren't there. Right? So then it goes on to say, your behavior is controlled by me, which is your higher self, your spiritual self. You could even say the Jesus of the Course in Miracles. I try not to get into that simply because it has nothing to do ultimately with the value of the material. You know, so I try to stay away from controversial terms because it's just a distraction. But when you could tell me something that could help me, it's like being on the desert. You haven't had water for a long time, and they bring you the canteen, and you say you won't drink out of it because it's green, and you only drink out of red canteens. That's the way we are about the language and the form of the language. It doesn't matter that the Course in Miracles is in Christian terminology if it's teaching us about universal spiritual truths. So some people get caught up on the form of it, and they lose the awareness that it's the content of it that's important. So you can place what you think under the guidance of your higher, greater spiritual self. The Course says, you didn't create yourself. You did not 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 create yourself. The Course says, well, what did you do? What you did do, though, is you're making the way you see things. And notice I said making. I didn't say creating. Creation, the Course says, is eternal and permanent. Making is temporary. So we are making up the way that we're seeing each other, and that changes constantly. But what's real is eternal, and it never changes, and you can always count on it. An interesting kind of analogy would be, and I pick on gravity all the time because it's so obvious. No matter what mood we're in, gravity still operates at this level. You could be in a good mood today. You could be in a bad mood today. You could feel really, really afraid, or you could feel really, really happy. Gravity still operates. So the truth is something you can always depend on whether you believe it or not. And so a smart person wants to get into what they can always count on no matter what. A person that's not exercising a whole lot of smart is a person that's trying to make their safety rest on things that constantly change. And what do? Constantly change. Egos constantly change. Beings that think their bodies constantly change. Beings who think they're separate from each other constantly change. And so the Course says you could place what you think under the guidance of the part of you that's sane, and the part of you that's spirit, and the part of you that's all-knowing. As a matter of fact, it says whenever you are afraid, it's a sure sign that you have allowed your mind to miscreate. So if I'm feeling afraid, then I know that there's something about my thought, according to the Course, that is incorrect. What? Yes, but remember I said I was going to say some things you might not believe, might not accept, might startle you, and you might not agree with. And I also know that we have strictly individual perceptions, so that I know that everybody's got a different take on what I'm seeing. Everybody has their own take. So I'm not looking for everybody to necessarily see it the way I see it. As a matter of fact, accepting that we all have our different perspectives and me accepting that is the key to peace. That's how I'll have peace, is I don't expect everybody to look at it exactly the way I look at it. But the Course did make things pretty simple. It says you're looking at things two ways. If you're looking at it correctly or incorrectly. That you're either looking at it through fear or you're looking at it through love. That you're either looking at it through a sense of innocence or you're looking at it through a sense of guilt. That you're looking at everything from a space of forgiveness or your bud's looking at everything through some kind of grievance based on the past. So the Course is all about, let me simplify this thing so that you can really benefit. So it's possible for you to place what you think under the part of you that's totally sane and totally loving and totally unlimited. That's what the book is saying. But guess why we don't do that? He says, when you are miscreating, all that means is you haven't allowed your love to guide your thinking. You haven't allowed the truth to guide your thinking. If I'm afraid of you right now, obviously I'm not letting love guide my thinking. If I'm angry with you right now, I'm obviously not letting peace guide my thinking. So when I'm mad at someone, I'm not really letting my sane mind guide my thinking. Okay, so if you're a person that stays angry, upset, in conflict most of the time, when you say, according to this, then this is a person who's looking at things incorrectly and not letting their higher self or love guide their thinking most of the day. If they're unhappy most of the day, they must not be thinking any thoughts of peace and love and joy most of the day. So usually when a person first gets into the Course, they end up saying stuff like, well, hell, I'm wrong all the time. Yeah, that's pretty much the truth. The more miserable you are, the more you're looking at things incorrectly. Okay? And hope you're wrong, and be glad that you're wrong, and be glad. And the Course even says that dastardly word, wrong. Right? You know, a lot of times people in New Thought, in New Age thinking, they really have a problem with the word wrong.
They think it's wrong to say wrong?
They think it's wrong to say wrong. Absolutely. It's like, oh, every way is the right way. And I love how the Course in Miracles answers that. I don't know how to break it to you, but you don't have time to try every way. Right? It'd be easier if I was headed east instead of west to get over here. It would be more helpful if someone told me I was going the wrong way, rather than wait for me to loop the whole world and then end up here. So I'm glad after being in the Course for 40 years, I'm so glad to be wrong. I wake up every day hoping I'm wrong about anything I'm telling myself that makes me feel bad or I used to make me feel unhappy or angry or upset. I can remember when wanting to be right, I thought was the key to happiness. And this book taught me to hope I'm wrong if I don't like the way I feel. You know, if you don't like the way you're feeling right now, the Course in Miracles says, number one, just go ahead and tell yourself, I don't like the way I feel. Then it says, right after that, then tell yourself, I hope I'm wrong. You know, if I tell myself I could never have prosperity and abundance, and I don't like the way that feels, I hope I'm wrong about the idea that I can't have prosperity and abundance. If I think I'm lonely, and I want a relationship, but anytime I head in the direction of somebody, they run, then I want to hope I'm wrong about the possibility of me having loving relationships. If I'm on a job and I tell myself there's no way I can enjoy it or give myself peace on it, then I want to. Sometimes when you feel like going to the job, you want a peace on it. Absolutely. Have you ever wanted a peace on something?
I think I know what you mean.
Right. Yeah, we got to put some peace on it. Yeah, that's okay. And I won't even say what my voice told me to say. We're not ready for it yet. We're not innocent enough. Okay, all right. You know, I still judge, let words affect the way that I feel based on what I've been taught to feel about that word. That's what I think about cursing or swearing. That's another perfect example of what the Course teaches. You're giving that word all the meaning that it has for you. You singled out swear words and you decided they're unacceptable or that you would get angry about it. But that's just your choice at the level of thought about how you're choosing to see it. And then you're letting how you choose to see it make you get angry if someone says, you know, right? So the Course has taught me that the way to control my feelings is just to control the meanings I'm giving to what is going on. if my feelings are coming from the meaning I'm giving you, if I could just give you a new meaning, I will have a new feeling about you. Right? So my boss don't have to make me mad. It's the meaning I'm giving my boss that's making me mad. So how do I stop getting mad at my boss? You need to give yourself new meanings. What are those new meanings? Well, it's called A Course in Miracles or any other wisdom text. So I'm not even saying the Course in Miracles is the only way. It's the way for some people. It's the way that some people are going to wake up to joy and happiness. It's been the way for me, and I want to be especially helpful to those who have chosen this particular path, even though anybody could benefit from it. So that's why I always like to let people know I'm available as a coach and a mentor because I can save you some time. Because do you know the Course in Miracles says the purpose of a relationship is to save you time. That's why we're in this room. We're coming together to save us time. So if you're in a relationship and it's not moving you closer and closer to peace and away from fear and conflict, don't you know that's a relationship you're using as a distraction and a relationship that you're using to delay yourself in your happiness? So if you find yourself always in relationships and all y'all doing is back and forth processing and trying to fix each other and change each other, and you telling them if you were different I'd be happy, and they telling you if you telling them if they were different then you'd be happy, and if they act different you'd be happy, and if you act different you just delaying your butt off. It's a big delay. That relationship is not moving you forward toward your happiness and your peace. It's a delay. It's a trick. Wow. Suppose my happiness had nothing to do with that person changing whatsoever. Wow. I just discovered the key to happiness because now I don't have to change any of you for me to feel good. I always ask Spirit to show me ways to be happy that doesn't involve anybody else's cooperation and validation. That's what comes, really. Like if I'm sitting at home and all of a sudden I make myself feel lonely, and then I try to think of someone to spend time with, and then what I'll try to do in most cases is go, no, I'm gonna go to the movie by myself. Because I'm calling them because I think I need them in order for me to have a good time. It'd be different if I felt whole and I just wanted to share my time with somebody else and I said, hey, let's go to the movie. But see, I was getting ready to call them because I was feeling some kind of a lack and a loneliness and a conflict inside of me. Right? So now I'm going to call you up to see if we can go out. Well, see, then I'm reinforcing the idea that my happiness depends on your behavior. And what was the behavior that I needed from you? Saying, yes, I'll go out with you. That would be the behavior that I think I need from you in order for me to feel good. Am I making sense? Yeah. Okay. All right. Because, just a little. Well, do you know that's all it's asking for is just a little bit of willingness. Guess what they say? Do you have a little bit of willingness? All right, I volunteer. Because I definitely just have a little bit. I can do a little bit. You just want a little bit of love, a little bit of peace, a little bit of sanity. Hey, I'm your man. Okay? So the Course says, how do we make this practical? Well, if you are going through fear and conflict right now, and you really want to know the best way to look at it, but you're still feeling that fear, then what you should say to yourself is, right now, I'm upset right now. I'm not allowing the truth to guide me right now. I'm angry at you right now. Pardon me just a minute. I'm not allowing anything that's coming from love and peace to guide me right now. That's the same as I'm mad as hell. Means I'm not letting anything that comes from the truth guide my mind right now. So you can walk up to the person, if they look like they're getting too friendly with somebody at the party, you can go, right now I'm not allowing my higher self to guide what I'm thinking about y'all over here in this corner. And I'm going to call it mad. I'm mad. I'm angry. So where are you not allowing love to guide your thinking? Right now. Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you a hint. Wherever you're feeling fear and conflict. That's where you're not letting the truth guide you. So people say, well, how do I know what the truth is? Well, that's the purpose of your spiritual path, whatever that may be, is to give you the new interpretations and meanings that you need to use to have that peace. It's not something you teach yourself. It's not something you teach yourself. Because if you already knew it, then you wouldn't be upset in the first place. Right? I love it. The Course says that basically what we want everybody to do is serve us. If you all would do everything I wanted you to do exactly the way I wanted you to do it, that'd make me so happy. And y'all, you would just thrill me if everybody in here did exactly what I wanted them to do. And so my job is to get you to do that. If you're going to be my special partner, that is exactly what you've signed up for. Especially if you don't want me to extend to nobody else but you. You better be a damn good time. That's the way I feel about it. You're supposed to be the only person that I have any kind of connection, friendship with, communication with for the rest of my life. You better be a good time. You better be a darn good time. Right? But I like to spread the responsibility. I don't like to ski. You do. Rather than you bugging me about taking ski lessons, go ski with somebody that loves skiing. And I don't care if it's a man or a woman or a child or a teenager. I don't care about their race. I don't care about their religious beliefs. I don't care about any of that. Go ski to your heart's content, baby. But if I'm insecure, frightened, not letting love guide my thinking, then I'm not going to want you out of my sight for 5 minutes because I don't love you. I fear you. Wow. But guess what? I can think, so I can exercise choice, so I can start looking at it another way. And I'm going to work on not letting what you do affect me one way or the other. That's the best place to be, is that my happiness is so coming from within me, and I have so much peace within me that I'm not going to let whatever you do make me attack myself. The Course in Miracles says every time you're angry, every time you're upset, every time you're going off, you're doing this to yourself. I'm mad at you. You depress me. I wish you'd change. See, I'm feeling that anger. I'm feeling that upset. So actually, I'm attacking my body. So the Course says every time you're doing that, say to yourself, this is an attack upon myself. I'm going off on my mate. This is an attack on myself. I'm attacking myself right now. I feel really bad. I feel really angry. I feel really upset. I feel really jealous. I'm attacking myself. 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 And then people come to the realization that they are attacking themselves all day. And no wonder you get home from work and you fall out on the couch. You've been beating yourself up since this morning. And that started out with going to the job you didn't like. The alarm clock going off is abuse. Right? Have you ever gotten angry because an alarm clock went off? I'm attacking myself because the clock went off when I told it to. So it's pointless. He said, don't you know it's pointless to believe that controlling the outcome of misthought can result in healing. Continually, I trip over the same rock and I injure my knee. Then I go to the doctor and I get it treated. And then I trip over the rock again. And then I treat my knee. And then I trip. He says, well, you're just controlling the outcome of tripping over the rock, which is your knee being injured. But that's not going to create the healing. The healing is going to be me stop doing whatever it was that caused me to trip over the rock. So controlling that result doesn't do anything. It's getting in touch with the cause. That will actually make the real change. I'm going to keep checking in. Does that make sense? That's why I love when people are recorded and I put my classes on YouTube and on Facebook, because the Course is like hammering in something. You don't usually drive a nail in with one blow. It usually takes a lot of blows before you actually get the nail in the board. That's the way the truth is. We have to hear it over and over and over and over and over again. Hear what over and over again? That if you're in fear and conflict right now, it just means you're not allowing your higher self to guide you or the truth to guide you. Also, if you're upset and angry in some area right now, it means that you're not exercising choice at the level of your thinking. And that you're thinking something that's not true that you learned in the past. Right? So that's very important. So whatever that area is that you're experiencing any kind of conflict in right now, know that when you are afraid, it just means you've chosen wrongly. He said, do you know when you're afraid, you've just chosen wrongly? What does that mean? Well, I've chosen to think something other than the truth, and so I feel responsible for it. If I'm the one that's thinking something other than love, if I'm the one that's thinking something other than truth, then I'm responsible for it. So you're responsible for every thought that you're having that's making you unhappy. You're responsible for it. Not to blame for it. Not to blame for it. Responsible for it. Wow. So what is it that you must change? He says, well, you got to change your mind, not your behavior. Change your mind, not your behavior. Change your mind, not your behavior. Change your mind and not your behavior. Change your mind and not your behavior. Change your mind and not your behavior. Change your mind. How many of you tried to change your behavior before you change your mind? I'll behave like I like you, but in my mind, I don't like you at all. I'm behaving opposite to how I think. And the Course says, then that puts you at war with yourself. And that's why people have internal conflict. Their feelings and their thoughts are not congruent. I'm saying something to you that I don't honestly feel. I'm behaving a way with you that I don't really want to. And the Course calls that an attack upon yourself. So then we see again why people are drained and get sick. And then the Course said, you know what else it says? That all of those attacks upon yourself really is just attacking your body. And then that's why the body gets sick and weak and hurts and aches. So your body is trying to let you know you got a lot of attacks going on. And it says your body is your perception. So when I say body, I'm not just talking about this physical body. I'm talking about the world you perceive yourself as you living in. So you're either attacking yourself through your world, which you take everybody doing something to upset you or hurt you in some way, or you are seeing your world as an extension of the love that you are. That's what's happening. And that's why the Course says this really weird lesson that's called, that everything you see is some form of vengeance on yourself. Because if I don't like myself, I'm going to take revenge on myself. How am I going to take revenge on myself? I'm going to make relationships that torture me and make me unhappy. That's me taking revenge on myself. I surround myself with people that I don't like, jobs that I don't like, situations I don't like, circumstances I don't like, and then I try to change them by changing them and not exercising choice at the level of thought. So that I'll say stuff like, everybody's hurting me. So I catch myself when I say that after I've read the Course. So you must change your mind and not your behavior. Would you like to know what it's a matter of, how you can do that easily?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a matter of willingness. So then I go, what do you mean, Earl? Well, I'm going to say I'm willing to change my mind. What? That's radical. I'm willing to change my mind. I am willing to change my mind. I am willing to change my mind. Are you willing to change your mind? Are you willing to change your mind? You know you're good at not changing your behavior. So you got that covered. Right? So it says, I want you to change your behavior. You don't have to change your behavior. Change your mind. Change your thinking. Change your mind. Change the people. Well, I've heard that before. So I didn't know. So what? Well, that's because you're not doing it. That's why you haven't gotten the result. But you really haven't changed your thinking. You've heard I should change my thinking. And then the mind says that's the same as you actually changing your thinking. Right? It would be something like you listening to me today and thinking because you were listening to this that your life is going to change. When actually it's not until I catch myself when I'm afraid and go, okay, I'm getting angry right now. So there's something about my perception that's wrong. So you know what I'm going to do instead of getting you straight? I'm going to shut up. I'm getting ready to go off on you. But I've learned that means I'm miscreating and not listening to the truth. So that means I need to shut the hell up right now and be quiet and come to a place of peace. Now that's me applying what we just heard. That would be the application of what we just heard. It would be me going, oh my goodness, if I was really seeing this correctly, I'd be having peace right now. But I don't have peace right now, which means there's something about my interpretation and my perception that's wrong right now. So I don't want to be right about what I'm telling myself about you right now. I don't want to be right because it's making me mad. I want another way to look at you. That's what I would do if I loved you. I wouldn't want to stay angry at you. I wouldn't be trying to focus on the justifications for me staying upset with you if I really wanted to love you. So a person that's holding grievances that they won't let go is a person that hasn't decided to express any love for that person. You know who you love. It's the ones that you don't feel like you have grievances with. And who are the ones you're not loving right now? Anybody that you got a grievance with, that's someone you're not looking at from a truth perspective. You might be looking at it from your perspective, but you're not looking at it from a love perspective. It's what the Course told me. So if I wanted to be right, that was going to make me mad. If I was willing to be wrong so I could have a peaceful relationship with you, I don't want to believe that me and you can't work this out. I don't want to believe that you and I are enemies. That's not what I want to believe. So I hope I'm wrong about what I'm telling myself right now. I can tell I'm insane. I'm insane. Why? Because I really want to pick up that hammer. How do I know I shouldn't? I'm mad as hell. That's how I know I shouldn't. Whew. See, that's too simple. We got to make it. He says that beings that think they're separate from each other and separate from God, these beings love complexity because complexity is a smoke screen that has the simplicity of everything. Because I'm not ready to do it yet, I'm going to pretend I just heard really complicated things, because I can use that as an excuse to not change my mind. So I'll make something complicated that I'm not ready to do yet. Wow. Because what's complicated about you hearing when you're most upset and in fear and conflict, that means you're not here listening to your own higher, greater self. So you need to be quiet, if at all possible. You need to not attack. Everybody with me? You hear it? Remember, you don't have to believe it, but I just want to make sure you're hearing it. Okay, then it goes, you don't need guidance except at the mind level. So guidance happens at the thought level. So when people say, I want to get guidance from the higher power, they don't know it's not an external guidance, it's an internal mental guidance. That the guidance is going to come at the mind level. The Course is saying, you all need to learn how to think differently. So the guidance you need is going to be in your thinking. And if you're angry and upset and unhappy, then your higher self, God if you will, puts the answer where the problem is. So where is the problem? Is in my thinking. So the answer is going to also be in my thinking. So you have all the answers, but the answers are where? In your mind. But where are we looking for them? Out in the world. So then they miss where the answers are located. Because they're looking for the answer to be that new person, or that new house, or that new circumstance, or that new car, or the new weather. Oh, I'm much happier today than I was with the weather yesterday, right? The weather was totally neutral. You're right? So again, I'm making my happiness dependent on something I can't control. The weather. Wow. So all of a sudden, when you study the Course, you see how much you've been giving your power away. But you also see very rapidly how you can get it back, because it doesn't depend on anybody but you. And it doesn't require anybody else to cooperate with you to practice one single thing that the Course in Miracles is teaching. Does not require anybody else's cooperation, which is the way us control freaks like it, which is for us to be in charge of our experience. So it works perfectly with those of us who want to be in control. I love being in control of myself. It was so long that I wasn't at all. I was out of control. Have you ever been out of control? Yeah. Then you make yourself feel guilty about what you did when you thought you were out of control? Well, the Course says, forget it. It's gone. It's over. It's not existing right now. I don't know nothing about it till you tell me about it. Everybody in this room has a clean slate with me. Did you know that? Until you tell me what you think your sins and guilt are and what you're ashamed about, I don't know anything about it. I don't see it. You have to tell me about it. Right? So that's how you know it's not real. That's how you know it's no longer real. You would have to tell me about what you did in your last relationship that you feel guilty about. Because I don't see it. Because in this moment, you all are sitting in a chair looking at me, which means in this moment, you are not doing anything but extending peace. That's what's happening right now, in this moment. And the Course says if I appreciate that, then it's going to extend into the next moment. And then the next moment. But how do I know when I stop seeing the moment correctly? That moment that I'm unhappy now. I'm angry now. Okay, that was I saw it correctly. This moment, mad. I'm not using the truth and looking at this in a new way right now. This moment, you see what I'm saying? What you call a bad day is nothing but the day that you weren't practicing the truth the most. Yeah. This is all together now. So correction belongs, I love it, boy. Time be rushing when you're torturing people. Okay. Telling you that you're innocent and you're powerful and you don't have to hurt and you have a higher power and a higher love that you could call on, and your past isn't in front of everybody's face right now, so you don't have to feel guilty about what you did prom night. We don't know. That's why you got to work it out with the person you was on prom night with. Y'all need to support each other for this innocent. Wow. Whoo. I love this material. Then it said, do you know correction belongs at the level where change is possible? And change doesn't mean anything at the symptom level. Again, changing the bandage on your damaged knee doesn't really mean anything. What means something is to get rid of what makes you trip. And that's what the Course is saying. Trying to always solve everything at the effect level after you've already, whatever's going wrong right now, you're trying to change the effect is not the same as changing the cause. And so the Course is always working at the level of the mind. Okay, and so it's saying that you're receiving inner guidance from your divine self all the time. Your higher self, God, Spirit, says you are always receiving guidance. Every moment you are receiving guidance. But the reason why you don't hear it, he says, it's because you're listening to your own thoughts. That you're listening to your own thoughts. And then he says, well, how do I know I'm listening to my own thoughts? And then he goes, well, it's wherever you're not happy. That's where you're listening to your advice. So it's not about always getting the physical thing on the outer to change for the better. Like sometimes I say, I'm not going to be happy until I get that new job, right? The Course is saying to us, what you're trying to shoot for is a state of mind that is so peaceful and so rooted in the truth that no matter what you're going through in the physical, you don't lose your peace so that you can continue to get your guidance. Does that make sense? I'm going to keep saying that. The Course isn't about how do I get the physical thing to be different. It's about how do I have peace about whatever the physical thing is, because from a state of peace is when our mind has the most power to heal things, and it's also when I can hear my spiritual guidance about what would be the best thing to do and to allow the healing to happen. Because as you grow spiritually, you realize it's not about getting anything, it's about allowing the healing, allowing the abundance, allowing the loving relationship, allowing the forgiveness, allowing the awareness of our oneness. An unconscious person is busy trying to get or take or compete. But the more conscious you become, you know that it's all about undoing the sense of separation from your source and then learning how to get out of the way. Like my mama used to tell me when I was a kid, just get out the way, boy. Sit down over here. Let me take care of this, will you? That's our relationship to higher power. It's like saying, why don't y'all sit down somewhere? Don't you see the state of the world today? Y'all don't know nothing. So what y'all need to do is be quiet for a minute and ask for something greater than you that's loving to come in this world right now into this perception so that you all can finally heal. And I want to be part of the love. I want to be part of the peace in the world. I'm serious. I'm sincere about that. I'm not waiting for anybody else to try to be loving and sane. I'll do my part for all of you. I'll allow myself to get rid of the blocks and the crazy stuff that's going on inside Earl and Earl's guilt and fears and insecurities. I'll work with my higher self to allow that to be healed, and then you won't have to worry about me being behind a building getting ready to grab you, because I'm a loving, peaceful person. So every time you are happy, then you are bringing more happiness to the world. So you have to care enough about all of us to let you be happy. I wish y'all would care enough about us to let you be happy. That would be the best thing you could do for all of us in the room. If you let yourself have some joy, you will be helping me. Would y'all be willing to have that as a goal, to love yourself more and to have more joy and happiness so that you can bring more of it to the world?
Absolutely.
Would you be, okay? Would you be willing to be in relationships with people who remind you of your value and of your innocence and your sinlessness and your guiltlessness and how much you deserve to be happy, even if you have issues and blocks that need to be released? Right. I'd say yes. Yes. That you would be willing to have the blocks to your happiness removed. That's not a trick question. Are you willing to have the blocks to your happiness be removed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. There's a way for you to do that, and that's what you would call your spiritual path, or I would call, I'm going to do the Course in Miracles workbook lessons, because there's one lesson for every day of the year that you are to apply to the whole day to help change your mind. And then there's a text all in this book, and it's the whole theoretical framework of the whole material, like what's the overall thing is trying to do. And then there's a manual for teachers, which really describes a lot of the terminology that it uses. I always advise people to start with the manual for teachers. And they go, what? Because to them, that's the last place you would start. But the Course is the opposite of everything we've been taught. And it tells you that. The truth is, you want to know what the truth is? It's the opposite of everything you believe. So if you want to know the truth of what is it that the world believes? The truth is just the opposite. If the world believes we're separate, we must be one. If the world believes we're all guilty, then there must be some innocence in us that we don't know about. If the world says we die one day, then the truth is there must be a part of us that lives forever. If the world says you are inside your body, the truth must be your body is inside you. It is. It is, because you're thinking about your body where? Inside your mind. So your body is really existing inside your mind right now. So your body is inside you. You're not inside your body. So remind yourself that next time someone's trying to get inside of yours. Okay, now, tell them you're not home. I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm not here. This is in me, and I'm not it. But it's the way that I communicate with you and the way you communicate with me. I'm using my body to communicate with you, and you're using your body to communicate with me. A hug is a communication. Touching each other, hugging each other, appreciating each other, that's a communication. Our bodies are our communication devices. They're the way we reach each other while we've forgotten who we are. So the Course in Miracles says, and I'm going to finish up on this point, and then afterwards I always give everybody a chance for some questions or some clarification or discussion. But what we want to end on is the idea that change doesn't mean anything at the level of the symptom, that it's going to come from your level of your thinking. So all you need right now is a new way of thinking, and the Course in Miracles offers you the new way of thinking. So you don't even have to come up with what that is. So it's already been done for you. There's a lesson in the Course that says, let me recognize my problems have been solved. And I went, what? Let me recognize. Just wake up and say, think about whatever problems you think you have, and then go, let me recognize this problem has been solved. Let me recognize this car problem has been solved. Let me recognize this weight problem has been solved. Let me recognize this relationship problem has been solved. Let me recognize my money problem has been solved. Let me recognize my separation from God has been solved. It says, because if you look at it as if it's already been solved, then you know that all you're doing is removing the blocks to recognizing it's been solved. And there's not a problem you can come up with that there's not a solution or an answer to. So it says if there's not a problem, that there's not a solution and an answer already here, then it actually means what? That problem has already been solved. You just have to give yourself access to the answer. There's not a problem that we have that hasn't already been solved. But you are not accessing the answer through fear and conflict. And he said, fear and conflict is me not going to my higher self and recognizing the truth and using the truth on this situation. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick wrap up in a minute. And I'm going to give everybody an opportunity. I'm a full-time teacher of the course. I do it on a donation basis. So I'm going to pass this around and give you the opportunity to share if you want to. You're innocent if you don't. That's okay. Those of you online, you can do the same thing. You can use Venmo. You can use Cash App, PayPal. You can use Zelle or Square. All you need is my email address, Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. I'm also available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, as well as mentoring and coaching. And for those who are open and receptive to the more psychic, intuitive side of things, I also do astrological and numerological interpretations and readings. That's just another way for you to receive some information. The Course in Miracles teaches that there is nothing you can make that cannot be used by spirit to wake you up. So whatever your beliefs are, whatever your work is, whatever you're doing in the world, whatever relationships you have, those relationships can be used by Holy Spirit to bring you more love in your perception. What your gifts and talents already are, what your habits already are, those habits can be used by spirit to your advantage. So I got into astrology and numerology and started my spiritual path before I got into the Course in Miracles. So the Course in Miracles principles are able to be implemented now in the way that I approach astrology and numerology. So I'm not going to stop doing something that I love, that has been meaningful for me, just because I got into the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles is going to take every talent I have and is going to use it to heal everyone. To me, that makes a lot more sense. You know, if you can take me where I am and heal me where I am and make me useful from where I am, that's a lot easier than me trying to change everything about me. So the Course is easy. It's just different. It says, there's a line in there where he says, this isn't hard. The way is not hard. It's just different. I'm asking you to do something different, but you're going to call it hard. It's because it's different. And did you know new means different? When you say I want a new relationship, you're basically talking about I want a different one or a different kind. Every time you say you want something new, you're asking for change. So I've been asking for a lot of new in my life. And so there have been things coming in, and I have to catch myself because I find myself wanting to handle it the way I always have. Mm-hmm. And then I have to go, wait a minute. You said you're ready for something new. So where this might have been a time you would have said no to this, or you were not going to check it out, go check it out. Because you asked for new. And new means different. If this is new to you and different from you, it may be the answer to a prayer you once had recently about how you'd like to have something new in your life, or you like to get something solved. It's going to be new means different. So remember that. So I'm available. Go to my website. You can self-book a session with me right from my website. I'm here to be truly helpful. And all my classes are on YouTube, and they're also on Facebook. And please watch and share these videos with others. It's showtime. It's showtime, y'all. The state of the world today. This is it. This is it. We're being called on now to use everything that we've been studying and everything that we've learned. So let me give you a quick 2-minute review of what we covered today. So I want you to think of that situation that's going on in your life right now. So what are you responsible for? You're responsible for what you think, because that's the only level you can exercise choice on. So I'm going to choose to think loving thoughts about you. I'm going to choose to think forgiving thoughts about you. I'm not going to be able to pull it off all the time. I'm not going to be able to pull it off all the time. I'm not going to be able to be perfect in my behavior all the time. I'm not going to be nice all the time. Sometimes I'm not, but whenever I'm not, that just means that I have not exercised choice at the thinking level. I've forgotten that I can change this by just changing the way that I'm thinking right now. And I can tell myself I don't feel good right now. I feel angry. I feel depressed. I don't feel joyful. If I feel that way, it means that I am not allowing another way to look at things to guide my sight. It means I'm still looking at things according to my past. It means at some level I'm only seeing the past. If I see a pattern in my life that I'm tired of in my relationships, if I see a pattern in my life that I'm tired of, and I see it showing up over and over again, and I try to fix it on the outer, and I try to fix it on the outer, then I'm trying to heal that at the level of the symptom. I'm trying to heal it at the level of the effect. And so that means that I am not recognizing that I need to exercise that power of thinking that I have, and I don't even have to worry about what to think because my spiritual path is already telling me what to think. Stop trying to change my behavior. I'm not going to try to change my behavior tomorrow. I'm not going to try to change my behavior tomorrow. I just need guidance at the level that correction is possible. And correction is possible at the mental level, at the mental level, at the mental level. But I need some new thoughts. I need some different thoughts. I need some new thoughts. I need some different thoughts. And when I learn how to let myself get the new thoughts, which I'll call my spiritual path, and then I'm going to put my attention and study onto that new path. How can I tell when I found my spiritual path? You can tell when you found your spiritual path because you're going to do it. You will be doing it. You'll be giving it attention. You will be studying it. You will be reading it. And even when you have resistance, you find yourself still drawn to it and still do it. But it's no such thing as finding your spiritual path, and it's your true spiritual path, and you not being inspired by it, and it not be something that you want to do. So if doing the Course in Miracles is like pulling your teeth and going to the dentist, it's a possibility. It's not your spiritual path. But it doesn't mean you can't benefit from it. I'm asking for those people especially who the Course in Miracles is their spiritual path. I want to be of help to you. I want to be able to take this 40 years of obsession with this material and just put it all on you. Every way I possibly can. Because I want to be part of the solution. I want to experience love. So I'm going to the best of my ability, give it. No matter what your reaction is. Because when that love for you comes through this body, when I let that love of spirit, y'all don't know how much I be getting off of here. It's masturbation. Master. Right. Pleasures that I can have that don't involve anybody else. It's the best pleasure you can give yourself. Because you can have that pleasure anytime you want it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is true. This is practical. So, mighty companions, I listen back to my stuff later and I go, I didn't say that, did I? And you all wouldn't believe how much I'm holding back. In no way you all could even remotely believe how much I hold back. That's why I'm going to have some no hold back seminars, workshops, you know what I'm saying? Private stuff. They have to sign a waiver before they come to my workshop. A non-disclosure agreement. You know, because the more safe you feel, the more you just be your natural self without trying to censor yourself in any kind of way. That's when you can tell you're around your true friends. You're not thinking about what you say before you say it. Are you thinking about what you should say before you say it with the people around you? Well, these are not the people you truly feel connected with and safe with. Or you wouldn't have to be worried about censoring yourself all the time because you're afraid they might judge what you say. Right? Now, if I'm around my friend, I'm not going to go, oh, should I say that? No, if you're really my friend, if I curse, I'm going to curse. If I don't, I don't. Whatever I want to express, I'm going to express. I'm not going to be sitting around you trying to say stuff just so it won't freak you out. Because if you and I are practicing the truth with each other, we know that nothing the other person says means anything any more than the meaning you give it. So I don't have to let anything you say upset me. So why should you be censored? You can't hurt me with your words. I'm the only one who can hurt me with my words. So if I don't give your words any meaning that would hurt me, there's nothing you can say to me that's going to upset me. I can't spend all my time trying to get people not to use the N word. But I could certainly make it so I don't get bothered by anything that anybody says because I'm not giving it any meaning because I know I am love. I am spirit. I am joined with you. We're all one. I'm not this body that's going to be out of here within the next 20 years. I'm about to go home soon. I'm not afraid of it. I just want to do what I came here to do before I go. That's what I'm focused on right now. So every opportunity I get to join with people in a loving way, in a sane way, then I'm going to try to do that. Because I don't have any time to waste on people who don't want to be loved. But there are plenty of people out there like you. There are plenty of people listening to me right now who want to be loved, who know they got issues, and they know they have blocks that they want to let go of, and they know they have some grievances, and they want somebody to join with them to help them let go of that. They know they have some hatred that they need to let go of, or some sickness they need to let go of, or some lack that they need to let go of. They're not trying to be right. They're saying, I want somebody to join with me that could help me. So there are more people out there that would want and welcome my help than I could ever possibly get around to. Why would I spend any time trying to convince somebody to let me help them? Then you don't try to change anybody anymore. Because the Course teaches that the best thing that we could do for anybody is not give them our wisdom.
Yeah.
Our human wisdom. Our separate wisdom. So now you know. Now you know when you need to be quiet. Now you know when you need to take a breath and pause. When? When I'm feeling fear and conflict and anger. That's when I need to breathe, because that's when my perception is most distorted. So if you're in a situation right now and it's frightening you, remind yourself that there's another way to look at it, that there is an answer that's available to you. But you have to be willing to be wrong, and you have to be willing to give something some attention and study, and then act on it in your mind, because it's only at the mind level that you need guidance, the thinking level. Okay. So. I told you to put your clothes on. You innocent, but some people don't think so. So I'm here to remind you, okay? All right? Okay. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. And I love you. Or I want to. That's only two feelings I have for you all. I either love you, or I sure in the hell want to. Do y'all have that too? Some people that you're going, gosh, I want to feel better about them. Yeah, I want to feel better about them. That's all the Course asks for. So I'm going to see you next time, and we are one.